Hi everyone, myself Vamsi Krishna, and in this session we are going to discuss how to set up multi-node Kafka cluster as a part of our previous video. In the previous video, we have seen the high-level architecture of what we are going to implement, and then we installed Angular, and then we run Spring Boot applications by using single node Kafka. But for production scenarios, single node is not an ideal solution. We just need at least 2 to 3 nodes or more than that. In this video, I'm going to set up a multi-node Kafka cluster so that we can use this Kafka cluster for our Spring Boot application and as well as Spark Scala streaming job. Let us get started with the actual implementation. But before that, we'll see some prerequisites which are needed for creating this cluster. To install Kafka, we need to have a prerequisite of minimum 6 to 8 GB RAM for production system. And if you are using AWS for small environments or for a test environment, T2.small is enough. But if you want to set up any production environments, you need to have a RAM size of 6 to 8 GB. And ideally, we should use T2.xlarge or M4xlarge or an equivalent AMIs. And then we need to install Java. After that, we can start with the Apache Kafka installation. Let us get started with the implementation. Let me create a EC2 instances with T2.xlarge and then we can start installing the next steps. Click on launch instance and select Amazon Linux 2 AMI, and from the AMI select T2.xlarge because we will have 4 CPUs to 16 GB memory. You can use T2.large also, but I'm using T2.xlarge. And then in the configure instance, mention number of instances as 2 so that we can create 2 instances at the same time. Click on review and launch and say launch. Use the key pair whatever you have with you. Click on launch instances. This is one instance, this is another instance. Let me say the first one as Kafka 1. You can keep any name. This is Kafka 1. And then next one is Kafka 2. You can keep any name. This is just for my identification purpose. This is Kafka 2. And grab the IPv4 addresses of both the servers. This is the server 1. And next one is server 2. Two 181 is for Zookeeper port. 9090 is for Kafka server. We'll copy this and keep it here. The first thing what we need to do is we need to connect to both the servers and install Java, and then we can start proceeding with the Kafka related steps. Copy the first server IP and connect to that using SSH. SSH remote host is this. Specify username EC2-user advanced SSH settings, use private key, select the key pair you have with you. Just set the host name for easy identification of your server. Host name CTL, set host name Kafka 1 and install Java 8. Yum install Java 1.8.0 - OpenJDK. And in the meantime, we'll connect to second server as well. SSH. This is the second server. Remote host. Specify username. EC2 hyphen user. Advanced SSH settings. This is the one. We'll check whether Java is installed or not. Java installation is done. Now we can set the host name for the second server as well. Sudo -i to switch to root user. Once you switch to root user, you can set host name here as well. Kafka 2. And then say sudo -i. This is Kafka 2 server. Same thing you can do here as well. Sudo -i. And then install Java in the second machine as well. Java is installed here as well. Now, once we have Java installed, we can go to Apache Kafka website and download Kafka from there. Go to Kafka website. I'm going to use 2.4.0. You can use the latest version also. Here also Java is installed. Done. We'll download Kafka. Go to OPT folder and download Kafka. Go to OPT folder and download Kafka. Done. Now Kafka is downloaded. Extract the Kafka tar in both the machines. Kafka is extracted. Now, as you are aware, Kafka uses Zookeeper. First, we need to set Zookeeper configuration. Before that, we need to create a data directory for Zookeeper. I am creating the data directory here. This is the data directory. I am creating Zookeeper data under home EC2-user. Do here also. And then we need to create one file called myid echo1 and for the other one echo2. This is nothing but broker ID. For the first server, I will keep broker ID as 1, and for the second server, I will keep broker ID as 2. For that, execute this command echo1, and in the second server, execute this as echo2. You need to keep these two numbers in mind. Why? Because they are dependent on this server.1 and server.2. If you keep 1, it should be server.1 in the zookeeper.properties. If you keep 2, it should be server.2 in the Zookeeper properties. Okay. Now we have created the data directory. Now we'll edit the Zookeeper config file. Go to Kafka and edit the Zookeeper config file. In the Zookeeper config parameters, you will have something called data directory, data dir. This you need to keep whatever the directory you just created sometime back. This is Zookeeper data directory. And then we have two servers, right? We need to add these entries as well, server.1 and server.2. Let me change the private IPs we need to mention. For this, the private IP is For the second server, the private IP is 113. Let me replace this. This is the private IP. And for the first one, you can get it from UI as well. You can find the private IP here also. You can go to UI and get that as well. If not, you can use ifconfig command. We have server.1, server.2. That is the reason we created echo 1, echo 2. If you have 3-node cluster, you need to have my ID and one more thing. You will have one more. Let me copy this and go till end, and here keep this entry server.1, server.2, and initialization limit and sync limit. Save this file. Now repeat the same thing in the second server as well. Go to Zookeeper configuration file. And go to data directory, and in the data directory mention what is your Zookeeper data directory. My Zookeeper data directory folder is this /home ect-user Zookeeper data, and again come till end and mention this one server.1, server.2, and followed by initialization and sync limit. Okay, we have made Zookeeper.properties changes. Next thing, we need to allow security groups. Go to UI and go to security groups and allow the security groups for 2181.9092. If you observe 288, 388, we need to allow for this. Click on security groups, edit inbound rules, add rule for 2181. I'm allowing it for all. Add rule 9092 for Kafka server and allow it for all. And then 288 for Zookeeper configuration and 388 also for same. And save the rules. Now we have enabled the port numbers also. Now once we have the Zookeeper configuration ready, next we need to change Kafka server properties as well. This is Kafka server properties. We'll go to first server, and in the Kafka server properties, there will be something called broker.id. Here you need to mention I am taking 1. Why? Because I mentioned server.1 in the previous step. That's why I'm mentioning broker.id as 1. And then there is something called zookeeper.connect, where you need to mention where is your Zookeeper running. This is the one. Go till end. Copy this one. Whatever I copied now, you can copy this. This is Zookeeper connect. In this file, it is done. Now the same changes we need to make on the other side as well. Here this is broker ID 2. Why? Because the other broker I mentioned as 1. Here it should be 2. This broker ID should be unique for each broker. And then go till end. And here also configure the Zookeeper connect. Perfect. Now we have changed Zookeeper configuration properties and server properties, and we have allowed the security groups also. Let us start Zookeeper server and Kafka server. Go to Kafka directory and execute nohub command so that the server will start in the background. Same command here also. Go to Kafka and start the Zookeeper. Now this is done. Let us verify whether it is running or not. Netstat -plant pipe grep : 2181. Now it was exit. Let us run this. We'll check one time why it was exit. If config, this is 92. This is 113. 92 and 113. We'll cross compare one time. Cat config slash zookeeper dot properties. Server dot one, server dot two, home zookeeper data, everything is perfect. Here also we will do the same. Cat config slash zookeeper dot properties. Server dot one, server dot two. And then we'll go to this directory and see the files. Okay, this went wrongly. This should be 2, the other one should be 1. The first one should be 1. The second one should be 2. This is 2. This is 1. Perfect. Now let us start zookeeper again. Let us go back to Kafka and execute this command. Now we'll see whether Kafka is started or not. Net start hyphen plant pipe grep colon 2181. Now Kafka is running. And we'll execute the same command here as well. Okay, we'll check here also Kafka is running or not. Net stat hyphen plant pipe grep colon 2181. Kafka is run. Sorry, Zookeeper is running here as well. Now once we have Zookeeper, we can go and start Kafka. We can start Kafka server also, as Zookeeper is already up and running. Now we can verify whether Kafka is already also running or not. 9092. Kafka is also running. Okay, now we have Zookeeper and Kafka running, and now we have multi-node cluster ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a topic on this cluster with replication factor 2, and I will create 4 partitions or 6 partitions. I can create as many as partitions what I wanted. Let me take this thing. This is the Zookeeper. Now if you see, we have replication factor. With replication factor 2, I am going to create 6 partitions so that my data will be replicated across both the host, and 6 partitions will be created for my data. 3 partitions will be there on one server, the other 3 partitions will be there on other server, and all will be in sync to each other. Let me execute this command, then you will understand easily. I'm going to create a topic 1. Let me go to the first machine and I am executing this command. Now it created the topic 1, and if you see, our replication factor is 2 and 6 partitions are there. Let us describe the topic whatever we created. If you describe the topic, it will show in detail. This is the topic 1, leader 1, leader 2. If you see, we have total 6 partitions and the data is partitioned across both leader 1 and leader 2, so that even in case of any down, the data will be replicated across both the machines. Now let me start sending data from one machine and we will try to see the data from the other machine, so that we will come to know whatever the data we are producing, whether we are able to receive the same data in other server or not. I have the command. This is the command. And then to see, this is console producer and we need to have console consumer as well. We'll identify easily. Okay, let us, this is producer, this is consumer, and this console producer and console consumer will be there under bin slash this, and the broker list is, we have the broker list. This is the broker list 9092. Whatever starts with 9092 will be there for the broker list, and bootstrap server is also equal to 9092. Our topic is topic 1. Now from one server I will try to send the message from the server 1 or server 2, you can select anything, and in the other server I will try to read some data. This is the server 1 and we'll try to consume the data from server 2. As we are trying to send some order data in our previous section, we can also use the same. This is the one. I'll try to send this data. Order date time, order ID, order status, so that if we can receive this message, we can say, okay, we are able to produce the data and we are able to consume the data properly with our multi-node cluster setup. Let me send the data from the first server. Okay, I sent the data. If you see, I have received the data from the consumer as well. This is Kafka consumer. That means with our multi-node cluster, whatever we have created, we are successfully able to send and receive the data. Thanks everyone for watching my video. If you like, please subscribe to my channel.